Welcome to the Daily Line at BetRepublic.com. I'm Jarvis Symes. With me, Greg Dempson, and we are getting ready for the March Madness. But before the madness, Greg,
it's the pre-madness.
The calm before the storm, and it's hardly calm before the storm. You looked at the list of games going today in college basketball. It's huge. It's hard to keep a handle on things. You're giving out plays for morning starts before they go.
Yeah.
But this is what the frenzy is all about.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is when spring is in the air, and we're all loving it, right?
I love it. You know, and I was screaming at the TV last night, and, you know, the Daily Line show, our 30-minute show or whatever, I started to lose my voice. I'm a horse. I've been talking on the phone a lot, talking to a lot of people, yelling at the TV when things are going my way, cursing at the TV when things weren't going my way.
You and all your friends should learn about text messaging. It's how you maintain your voice. We got Tulsa playing Marshall tonight, and the line for the game is Tulsa minus 1.5. We got one up there, but we've seen a little bit of money coming in on the favorite. That bodes well for our selection because, Greg, you like Marshall. What do you have for this game?
I like Marshall a couple reasons. You know, neutral site game, I looked at how each team performed, you know, on the road this season. Offensively and defensively, I give the edge to the Thundering Herd there in that spot. I also thought that the line should be around 4.5 to 5 points for Marshall, so there's a line swing there. We're getting 1.5. I like that as well. And also from Game 15 out this year, Jarvis, Tulsa was 0-7 ATS when playing a team with a winning percentage of between 60 and 80%. So that's an angle as a negative angle on Tulsa, and also a positive angle on Marshall when they were playing teams that were poor pressure defensive teams after 15-plus games, teams that would force 14 or less turnovers per game. Marshall was 6-0 against the spread. Combine those two, you've got a 13-0 angle there. I like the dog in this game. I like Marshall plus 1.5 as an official selection.
Greg's on Marshall plus 1.5. Lots of college selections, lots of college picks up at BetRepublic.com in the NCAA betting section. There is a lot of hockey going on tonight, along with the basketball. Only a small NBA card, but huge card in the NHL tonight.
Big card.
One of the things to take into account when you're handicapping the NHL right now is playoff incentive. Who's going to be giving it that extra fight? We've started to notice it in the last couple of games who had more fight left in them. One of the teams we noticed that the other night was the Montreal Canadiens. They beat Tampa Bay handily at home. Montreal's in action tonight. Laying a lot of juice, but this is the Edmonton Oilers visiting. Montreal is in by 2 points, but they have got other teams have got game on hand. Not a lot of room there. Boston also in the 8th spot.
They're knocking on the door.
They're knocking, exactly. Boston's in the 8th spot. Boston also in action tonight, playing in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's in the 6th spot, but they can feel Boston breathing down their neck along with the Montreal Canadiens. One team that I like that has been kind of one of those dark horse teams, the Atlanta Thrashers. They are just sitting 4 points back of Boston for the 8th spot. Atlanta is playing in Columbus tonight. I do lean towards the Atlanta team, but it's not an official selection. I do have one pick that I'd like to share with you, though, and that is in the Tampa Bay Lightning at Toronto Maple Leafs game. Toronto is laying 130 in this game, and the over-under is 5.5 over 130. Some of the reason behind Toronto laying that kind of juice is because they're at home, because it's Tampa Bay coming in, and because Toronto's gotten a lot of hype lately from Dion-Phaneuf and some of their trades. But even though Tampa Bay's coming off a loss, I don't exactly think that they're out of the playoff picture yet. They're sitting in 9th spot, and they're still not ready to pack the season in. Greg, you've got some numbers on this game that you wanted to share.
I was going to ask you, I know you won't know this answer, but I have to ask, when's the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs were in the playoffs? What has it got to be, 15 years maybe?
No, it hasn't been that long.
Seems like forever.
No, it's got to be within the last 7 years.
They were in? It must have been 4 and done or whatever. Anyway, I had actually the system that worked well yesterday on the over when we talked on the Daily Line show, Jarvis. It's an addendum of that system that's going tonight, and it's on this game. The over-under is 5.5. You got to lay $1.25, $1.30 if you like the over, but just an opinion on the over in that game, Jarvis.
Okay, well, one thing about this Toronto-Tampa Bay matchup right now is they're playing off a loss in Montreal, but the game on deck for the Tampa Bay Lightning is a visit to Washington Capitals in a couple of days. That's not the kind of thing you look forward to, but the Tampa Bay Lightning are not in a look-ahead situation right now. They are in a situation where they need to win this game. I will always be the first one to tell you, don't believe the hype on the must-win situations. But Tampa Bay is coming off, or Toronto, is coming off an upset win, not an upset win, a rivalry win, let's say, over Boston in overtime. and they got that one out of their way. That's a big win for Toronto. If anything, this is a flat spot for them. Tampa Bay is not exactly a rival of theirs. Tampa Bay is looking at this game as something they need to win because they're going into Washington next. That's not a good spot for them. Look at the matchups between Tampa Bay and Toronto. They've been tight. They've been one-goal games. Tampa Bay's held the edge the last 3 times. Another reason why you're seeing line value with the Lightning, I think, for this game here is because Mike Smith is going to get the nod for them. Mike Smith has been kind of sitting on the benches as Intero and Didimaki lit it up for Tampa Bay, trying to get them back in the picture. The last win for Mike Smith was January 10th at New Jersey. He was on a 4-1-1 run at the end. But if you look at some of the matchups, he's had to play twice. Washington twice.
Okay.
New York Rangers, Boston. He's not been doing well. It's inflated his goals against average, but this is a chance for him to get some redemption. There's not a lot of people on Toronto who could find the net either. I like Tampa Bay. I've got an official selection on the Tampa Bay Lightning getting back 110 to beat Toronto. Greg, update us on your one, or recap your one play.
Okay, we have a selection on Marshall. It's an official selection tonight. Marshall, I believe the game goes 7:30 Eastern Time, Georgia. Jarvis, 7:30 Eastern Time, Marshall plus 1.5. Shop around. If you see one and you have more than one out, you'll probably find 1.5 elsewhere. Plus, we had another selection that we gave out on the Daily Line. Go and watch the show today at betrepublic.com, and you can pick up the pick that we had between Texas and Baylor.
Excellent stuff, Greg. Again, my pick was the Tampa Bay Lightning getting back plus 110. That's our show for today. Make sure you stop by the Daily Line every Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, and come by for the March Madness show starting every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, live at betrepublic.com. For all the cast and crew here at Bet Republic, I'm Jarvis Symes.
And I'm Greg Dempson.
Thanks for watching.
Good winning tonight.